Hello, welcome to episode 4 of this Django Class Based View series. In this episode, we're going to be learning about TemplateView, which is the first view that we're looking at that we can kind of see a material thing. The ones before this are kind of like ideas and kind of getting you used to the concept. But this is where we're actually going to be rendering a template, which is what most all of Django views are going to be based off of. There's a few exceptions, such as like redirect view, which you can see right here, which comes just off of view, as well as other third-party like API views don't necessarily want to return a template. But for template view, we're going to use template view for anything that needs to return a template. Generally, template view I use with like home pages, where sometimes we do want to display a list of things or like detail about one object, but typically home pages are mainly based around showing a template with information. So if we look at template view, it only has one method, which also has some mix-ins. So it's kind of, there's one method, but it also has all the methods and properties of these two mix-ins. We're going to be talking more about mix-ins in depth later on in the series, but for now, you just need to understand that this class has all of, like, this is the template response mix-in. So it has all of this too, like injected into it, but we want to be able to reuse all of this, so we inject it as a mix-in. And here you can see in the get, from the view, which we talked about in last episode, the server is going to get a get request and map it to this get method. And then we're going to get the context data for this template, and then we're going to render that context data with the template. So that should make sense to you. That's a lot. That happens a lot in template views, and actually, when we'll see, if we go and look at this render to response, this comes from here in the template response mixin. And here, all we're doing here is we're returning a response with the request template context and the template engine. This is a lot to look at right now. We're going to go through an example here in a couple minutes to show you how this is used. But typically, you only override template name here, and everything else is taken care of for you. Get template names is what we're going to use to determine what template to render. And really all this does is make sure that we have a template named. If not, it's going to give us an error. It's going to raise an error because it doesn't know what to render. So that was the render to response. As you can see in the render to response, it calls this get template names, which is where it knows what template to return. Before that happens, you need to get the context that you want to pass to the template. In case you're not familiar with context, context is what you put in the double curly braces in the template. So here, where is it? That's at the very top. Context missing, we're just going to get the context data, and we're going to add the context so that it's able to be used in the template. So here, let's go ahead and give an example. First, here we have our blog site that we're working with, and we're just going to add a homepage to it, a very basic homepage, so we can see how template view works. So here, let's go ahead and add a new route to home template view. I don't think I'm going to be saving any of this right now, so I don't need to make sure it's good. But so we're going to add this here, and let's do this home. And then we also need to add this view class, and we'll base this off of template view. And for now, let's just not do anything with that. Template view, and let's see what happens. Okay, here, template response mixin requires either definition of template name or get templates names, right? So what you're seeing there is in the template response mixin, it's trying to get the template, but we haven't specified what template to use, right? So obviously it can't render it, so that's why it's giving us an error. So what we do here is we're going to override this template name to let it know. As you can see, I did the same stuff down here below because all of these come off of TemplateView. They're all rendering a template, so you have to specify a template somewhere. Some of these come with default template names, so you wouldn't have to specify them, but straight TemplateView does not. So we have to specify that. And let's name this home, and here we will create a new home.html. Let's go ahead and copy this, and this is the title, and we'll close that. And so now we should be okay. And there it is. This is the title, our nice, lovely home page. Okay, so what's happening here is from the URL, we're getting the template view. Template view, it's here, we're specifying the template name, and everything else is done for us. We don't have to do anything else. This is super clean. Everything is taken care of for us. Now, if we want to do something that's not exactly the default, we have to specify that. So we're going to override the context. We're going to add a title in our context. Obviously, you wouldn't actually do this, but this will show you how you can add context in there. Like, say you want to add a list of blog articles or whatnot on your homepage. So here, let's go ahead and look at. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy this. So we're going to override this. The first thing you typically do with context with override context is you're going to set it to super. We're probably also going to have an episode about super, because what super does is it's going to run the method as it already is. So it's going to call this current class with this method in case it already has something, such as like in a form view. It's going to have that form already in the context, so you want to grab that and make sure that it's still in the context. But for now, yeah, just kind of understand super is going to call that method as it already is, and then we're going to add to it. So context, you're going to add a new context called title, and we're going to set that this is a blog site that sucks. Okay, and then we're going to return the context. If we don't return the context, then there's going to be no context there, and this title wouldn't be there as long as all of the other context wouldn't be there either. So now in here we can replace this with our new context, which is called title. And here, if we refresh, this is a blog site that sucks, right? Our beautiful homepage. So here we add in context. Obviously, this is very not cool. In future lessons, we're going to see how it can be cool and how it can save you time. This is just for a one-off thing. So we're not actually saving code here. We're actually kind of making it more difficult, which is something that sometimes people struggle with in the beginning of class-based views, because you see this and like, well, a function-based view to add context is a lot easier. That is true in this one example. We're going to see how, like, if we want to add certain context to multiple, we can do that in a way that saves us a lot of time and a lot of dryness and make it very dry. I think that's about it that we wanted to talk about on TemplateView. The next one, I think we're going to talk about list view or maybe detail view. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you for the next one.